Hello everyone, welcome to Lit Studio by Karishma. So today we are going to talk about J.H.Miller. He is a very prominent deconstructionist thinker. We've already discussed about Jacques Derrida and also the concepts given by him in two parts. And we've talked about Paul Riemann. And in this lecture, we are going to talk about J.H.Miller. Now, J.H.Miller is also a disciple of Derrida. We've talked about Paul Riemann as a disciple of Derrida. Now, J.H.Miller is also a disciple of Derrida. In fact, we are going to discuss about Geoffrey Hartman in the next class. He is also a disciple of Derrida. His books would include Charles Dickens, The World of His Novels, which was published in the year 1958, Poets of Reality, which is published in the year 1965, The Fiction and Repetition, which is published in the year 1982, Theory Now and Then, published in the year 1991. The Medium is the Maker, published in the year 2009. Reading of Our Time, published in the year 2012. Please make sure you make a list of all these books that are written by J.H.Miller. Now, his key work would be an essay that or a paper that he has presented, which is The Critic as a Host. So, it is an essay which is presented as a paper in the session of the Modern Language Association. It is sometimes seen as a reply or a response to the paper by M.H. Abrams, which is titled The Deconstructive Angel. M.H. Abrams has given a paper titled The Deconstructive Angel, wherein he rejected the ideas given by J.H.Miller, or maybe you can say the ideas given by deconstructive thinkers. J.H.Miller gave this particular paper, The Critic as a Host, as a response to the paper by M.H. Abrams, which is called The Deconstructive Angel. So, it is the session that we've talked about of the Modern Language Association happened in December 1976. So, in The Critic as a Host, Miller talks about intertextuality of literature. Please observe this. He talked about intertextuality of literature in The Critic as a Host, but it is not his concept. The concept of intertextuality is actually by Julia Kristeva. We'll talk about that concept when we will be discussing about Julia Kristeva in another lecture. But in this particular text, in The Critic as a Host, he talked about how a text is related to another text. He says that the former text, see, there is a prequel and a current text, or there might be a sequel to a current text, right? So whatever the text that is produced first would act as a host, and the text that comes after this would act as a parasite. It is not only true in the case of sequels, prequels, but it is also true when there are adaptations to something, when there is reference to something. So, he says every former text is a host and the current text in question is a parasite. You should understand the concept of host and parasite. A host being is a living being which lives on its own, which acquires its own food, which lives on its own. All right. A parasite, it is a host. A parasite lives in the system of host, and it doesn't earn food of its own, it doesn't earn energy of its own, but it takes the food from the host. It actually sucks out the blood of the host, it actually sucks out the energy from the host and lives its life within the host. So the host does all the work and parasite lives off it. That is why he says that the former text which was existing before is like a host, and the text which took its reference would be like a parasite to it. For example, if you observe, there are many versions of Hamlet that are in the market today that take inspiration from the original text by Shakespeare. So, the original text by Shakespeare would be the host, and the text that we see in the market today would be the parasites of it. Even many critical papers which are done on a particular text would also be parasites. The original text only would be the host of it, because we take our entire references, we take our entire opinions from the text itself. That is the reason why it is the host, and the paper that we write depending on that particular text would be a parasite. So he called it the text as host, and the text that is created, that the newer text would be a parasite, because any new text you see is a reference to the earlier text. That is the reason why he called the original text as a host, and the text that took reference from it would be a parasite. Also, you should remember this key detail, that he belonged to Yale School. Yale School is one of the important schools associated with the deconstructionist theory. The details of it would be discussed in literary movements, wherein we'll talk about Yale School in one particular video. So please make sure you remember all these details, like his book and his important concepts. That is it for this lecture. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you.